I don't like that way almost at all. You'll just get way better at coaching, and also you start building up your brand and your recognition, and people will want to work with you. Don't freak out if it's not perfect.
So you gave me a handful of new ideas right there.
Gary's part of my Movement Makers program, and part of that is we do an IG Live. So how can I help, man? What do you got?
Thanks for taking the time. It really is awesome to actually just connect with you and chat. And where I'm at right now is doing the group coaching and getting that up and started. So just any advice, tips, or warnings to watch out for when I go to launch my own group coaching.
So I think what the first thing to figure out is how much do you like vibing with the people in the room versus following your methodology and teaching. Why I say that, a lot of the coaching that is done is not the way that I do it, whereas most people will come in and say, and so there's neither right or wrong. It's like, what's right for Gary? This is what you got to figure out.
Yeah.
Most people's programs, it'll be, okay, this week we're talking about this, and it's based off of what the speaker wants to talk about that you think will be of interest to the audience too. So who's your target audience? Like, who are you coaching or helping?
It's really just people. So body transformation, personal finances, and also working on relationships as well.
Okay, great.
So those sorts of areas.
Hey, 2021, we're going to start the year by talking about your diet. And here's what's wrong with your diet. And here's how we're going to fix it. And here's my 8-step methodology to improving your diet and getting meal plans set up for the year, right? It's like, do they care about that? Sure. Is it going to help them? Absolutely. And it makes it a lot easier, I think, in that if you already have a methodology, you already have your 8 points, and you just get on and start talking to them.
Yeah, you start sharing it.
I don't like that way almost at all. So mine is different. It's not that it's better. It's like, what's better for you? So I have methodologies, right? Like Built to Serve, we could just go, okay, we're talking about chapter 1 today. And in chapter 1, we talk about these things and then explain it and then do a little bit of Q&A. I love the Q&A. Like, it's all about the Q&A for me. And I want the topics for what people care about. So as you've seen in Movement Makers, I never pick the topic. We do a poll the week before to say, what do you want Evan to talk about with you next week? And they pick, everybody in the group picks, right? And you vote on each other's topics, and whatever the topic is, hopefully I have something to say on it. But again, we're picking topics that I know about, right? We're not talking about like hairstyles or something in my audience. So what has led to some really cool topics that I would never have done myself. So one of them was developing your first keynote speech, which makes sense for movement makers of like, hey, you're building your movement, you're going to be doing speaking gigs. What's your first keynote speech? But I would never have thought about making that a presentation topic. And so getting the feedback from the audience made it cool, right? It's like, it's different.
That's fun.
It's fun, dude. Even today, my Brandlytics. So I had a YouTube Growth Bootcamp course that I was selling. And the problem with any course is most people never actually do the work of the course. Like most people who buy it, they never read the book, and my contemporaries say, like, don't worry about it. That's what happens. Like, most people won't buy the course. Won't use the course who buy it.
Won't do the course, yeah.
Dude, it bothers me. Like, I want people to get a result, So I did what my contemporary said not to do, which was turn my course into a group coaching. So now we have 2 group coaching: Movement Makers for people starting their movement, and Brandlytics for people who want to go deep into YouTube analytics to help you blow up your channel, which requires my time now. It's more work for me every month instead of just recording some videos and then forget about it. Go, you guys are on your own. I love the interaction. So people might look at my schedule and say that that's too crazy and you don't want to do that much, work. I like the interaction. I feed off of it. So that's where you have to kind of figure out that's why I was asking the question, where does Gary fall? Do you want to show up, give the outline of the material, give them the tips, answer some questions, and then kind of leave. And then next week or next month or however often you're doing it? Or do you want it to be more based off of what they're asking, which is a lot more work. So I don't necessarily mind it. It's just more fun for me. That's all. So which camp feels more right for you?
Well, I guess it's the feedback method that you're talking about. That does seem like a lot more fun, more engaging, and you actually are helping people in the moment and with exactly the problems they're facing right then and there. And you get to share your advice. So that seems to be the perfect match. But as you mentioned, it's a lot more work. I know for myself, I have time limits on the work I can do because of my volunteer work. I need to keep things in their place. So, watching a lot of the stuff that Brendan Picard's putting out, like with the Growth Day and his format, it is more of a teach angle. And I like that too. So I'm just wondering if there's some sort of blend that I could do. Because it seems that maybe once a month, do the whole Q&A feedback type format, and then the other 3 weeks. I think that's pretty good. Or even something like that. Yeah, something.
You could have February be health month, and you have 3 weeks of teaching, and then 1 week of, you guys pick the topics. Like, you just went through 3 weeks of this. What didn't I cover that you want deeper insight into? And dude, showing up for Brandlytics and Movement Makers is the best part of my day. It's like I show up, it's like, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. All of these awesome people trying to do something, and I get to be a part of their journey. It's so much fun for me that I can't believe I get paid to do it, right? Like, it's genuinely fun. I get off the call, I was like, all right, what are we doing next? What are we doing next, right? I'm like too high energy almost. So it's perfect for me. Like, this is what I was designed to do. It's amazing. The other thing I would really factor in is the connection to each other. So this has been an evolution inside of Movement Makers, where at the beginning it was just me, and I would talk for 85 minutes and answer questions and all that. But it was me for 85 minutes. And what I wanted to do was have people connect more to each other inside the group so that you feel like you're not alone. Like, anybody who's on a health journey, if they feel like they're all alone, it's a problem. But if they feel like they have other people like them to do it with, they're much more likely to stay committed. So it's great to get Gary once a week, but if they also felt like they had not just learning from the coach, but connecting with other players, it just increases the fun for them and chances that they're going to follow through because they're not alone. So my first attempt at it was doing mastermind calls. So kind of volunteer, hey, if you wanted to connect with somebody else in the group, let us know and we'll connect you, and you find a time throughout the week to have a call to introduce and get to know each other. I just believe there's so much great stuff that could happen if just the members knew each other more, both for members and Brandlytics. Things that I wouldn't even think of. Like, I was making introductions to people, but if they just talk to each other, you guys will come up with all sorts of different things to do that I didn't even know of, right? So it's been fun to watch inside the Movement Makers, people going live together, people joining each other's channels, people commenting on each other's stuff. It's like, now they're not alone doing it. The calls didn't work out as well as the breakout sessions. So we got rid of the calls, and instead, inside of my training, there's usually 15 to 20 minutes breakout session where the number seems to be like 5 to 6 people as a sweet spot. If you have too many people, they don't get a chance to talk, but if it's too few, then it may not be enough people. So like, we're still playing with 5 to 6 seems to be the sweet spot where people can connect. And it's almost at the end. So how we do it now is 45 minutes of presentation of me sharing. My goal is 3 big ideas. Here's the topic. Here's Evan's 3 big ideas for roughly 45 minutes. Then it's going to be 15, 20 minutes of breakouts where it's like, what was your big aha moment? What is the biggest thing you learned from this? And what's your plan of action? And share that with the group. And it almost doesn't matter how people answer the questions, just getting to know each other. It's just giving some like, oh, oh, hi, I'm Gary.
Yeah.
People are nervous. I would be nervous too, just showing up in the room. So to give some excuse to start to talk to each other. And then by the end of it, people come back. It's like, that was amazing. I love the breakout sessions. This is great. And it sucks a little bit for you as a coach, because I'm not in any of the breakout rooms. I'm basically by myself here in my office waiting for everyone back. It's like, I want to be a part of this. But if I go in, then it becomes about me and not just about the group connecting to each other. So I've gone in once because somebody left and we had a shortage. So I went in and it was amazing. But I try to keep it just for the members. And that's a big plus that we consistently get feedback on, is that people love the chance to connect with other people who are going through the same thing. And then we come back and we do another 20 minutes of final Q&A, like, what did you learn? How can I help? I'm here. Until again, we meet again in 2 weeks. On the Brandlytics side, because it's so heavy on data and analytics, we do once a month, same format, questions, and then once a month, a deep dive on somebody's channel. So you could potentially even do it yourself with like a deep dive on somebody's. Do you have a name for it, or like we say life transformation?
Yeah, things like life transformation, body transformation.
Yeah, so
personal finance.
Like a 360 assessment on somebody's life and help them do, like, you basically do a live transformation. That it can't just be for them, it's got to be for everybody watching as well, to learn how you do it, questions you're asking. So when I'm going to do my YouTube channel breakdown, in my breakdown it's also going to be teaching, like, hey, here's what I would do if I was in your shoes running this channel. And so if you were to help somebody create their plan for that first 45 minutes, that's life-changing for them, but then also value add for everybody watching, then they can still put their breakouts, and then they can still, so it's less teaching and more doing, more just coaching.
In the moment.
Yeah, like what you would do. What would you do? And it's all of your experience and background, because somebody's going to say, Gary, I don't know, I had a New Year's resolution and I already broke it. What do I need to do? And, maybe the questions you get asked a million times, you already know all the answers to, that you then just help them through it. So in that combination, like, you may not get it right the first time. I think at the beginning, I tried to make mine too much like Brendan's. And Brendan gave me the idea for mine, by the way. Like, Brendan sat me down in Puerto Rico. Was like, you need to launch a membership. Like, really? I don't know. Okay, well, Brendan said to do it, so I'll do it. And it's been amazing. But I can't do it the same way he did, and we had to make those adjustments along the way. So if you've been part of Growth Day, HPX, and now part of Movement Makers, you can kind of take the best of what you like of the different styles and work for you. And listen, don't freak out if it's not perfect out of the gate,
So you gave me a handful of new ideas right there. Just even the format and trying to see what works.
It's every week?
It'll be once every 2 weeks, sorry. Okay. And then that's the group coaching. And then the one-on-ones, the private coaching is weekly.
Do they have to do both, or can some people just be group and not do the one-on-one?
Yeah, they can do either. They can do both or either. Yeah.
Whatever you want to make money doing, show me the process of you doing it. So just good at answering questions and following a template doesn't mean that you're a good coach. Now, you are a good coach, but just because you can teach doesn't mean that you're a good coach. This is one of the things that I push Brendan on so much. Is like, Brendan is an amazing coach, but you very rarely see him coaching. You just see him teaching. See him teaching, but he's a fantastic coach, but you almost never see it. So we need coaching videos. So that's the business model that you want to create. Like, if you want to take some of your group people and turn them into coaching, then you should have one of your sessions be a coaching session. So we get to see Gary the coach. And then people will say, oh my God, how do I hire you to do the one-on-ones with me too?
Yeah, they see themselves in that same position that we're working together and going through the process.
And then they want
coaching
that themselves. It's like, oh my God, look what Gary did for this person. Maybe Gary can do this for me too. Gary, you do coaching, right? Like, how do I hire you? What's this group thing is great, and I want some more one-on-one attention. How do we do it? So that's your ambition, right? Is to sell more individual coaching. Then I need to see you coaching.
Yeah, which you can take from the group coaching.
Yeah, so the group coaching, you can have one session be the training that you pick the topic or they pick the topic. Now it's not as bad. If it's only once a month that you're doing training on a topic, you can have them help pick the topic and doing a little bit extra in the end of the world because it's only once a month. And then the second one is coaching around, it can still be around the theme. Like if the month is going to be around health, who needs help with their coaching on health? And then you pick one out of the people who submit, but then the others are going to feel, okay, I mean, he picked that person, but maybe I want to hire Gary instead now to help me with my problem.
Excellent. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I'd be looking at some public content too. Like you should be doing, if you want to do coaching, I'd love to see a regular, even Instagram live coaching like this. This is coaching. But now we're like, you're going to have somebody, you're going to be on the top and somebody else is going to be on there. And you're going to help them with their body or their life.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's, yeah. And you've mentioned this stuff before, and I'm cultivating it. It is a bit of a process to get it in place and reach out to people and these sorts of things. And it's, it's humble beginnings, I guess, for myself at the moment. But it's, I think the process and what you're outlining is pretty solid. So thanks.
It'll be super fun too. Like coaching somebody and seeing their eyes light up and giving them hope. Like coaching is really hope and then strategies. Like it's the belief that it's possible and then the tactics on how to actually do it. That combination.
Yeah.
And you can get that aha moment for them in the coaching session. Everybody else watching says, oh my God, who's this guy? Gary. I need to go, what's his Instagram? What's his YouTube? He has a group coaching. He's got one-on-one coaching. How do I work with him? Because it's result. And it's also less work. Because I don't know if you went through like all the way at the end, we have the thought leadership template for how to make a video. That's work. Like it's good work to go through because that skill you'll use forever. But the easier version to start is coaching because you just show up. You're going to show up to a call and somebody's going to say, Gary, I need help. And you're going to say, great, what's wrong? And they're going to tell you their story, and then you're going to help them. You're going to fix them. Like you don't need to have to make a typical YouTube video. You have to have structure and thoughts, and
scripted
and just it's a lot of work. Like 4 hours to make one video, where a 25-minute coaching call is 25 minutes because you're great at what you do. So it's a great way to get content out, especially if you want to sell coaching, right? If you want to sell coaching, I need to see you coaching. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean about seeing the glimmer in someone's eye or the aha moments. Haven't experienced that myself. And I think that's more the reward when you actually see that point. Yeah. You're just like, wow, yes, we're making progress. Things are happening. And so that's, And that actually is what I guess is a bit of the motivator is when you do see that and you're like, oh man, what is this person going to use with this information that we just shared and then that change that we did? How are they going to take that forward? And that's the inspiring piece of it, really.
In the last session, I talked about coaching versus mentoring. I don't know if you saw that. Watch the replay.
Yep.
They're live, but if anybody you really, really like from the coaching that you've done that's live, like if it's public, then it's free. It's free coaching if it's public. If it's paid, then it's private.
Private.
But if it's somebody you really like who you've done free coaching with, you can always have them on as a monthly guest and then take them to the next level and then the next level. And then, so it's mentoring now. Now it's an ongoing relationship. But when you see somebody getting results, it's great for you to know that you helped them, but it's also great for them and for the audience, for the content, to see somebody's progression as opposed to a one-off coaching session where we don't necessarily know what happens next.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely believe in the mentorship. I've had mentors over the years, still got them. I've been mentoring people. So yeah, it's switching into, so I think I have a bit of a pool of people that I can draw on to even just kickstart that process.
But I
So that's a good
do
one.
mean the mentor for people. So if you coach somebody and you really like them, like if you did an Instagram like live like this and you had somebody come on and you coached them and you really liked them and you gave them the plan, you gave them the body transformation plan for January, February, or the next 90 days or whatever, you can have them come back
Mm,
and see how we doing. It's like, oh, Gary, okay, well, you know what? I stayed consistent on 25 out of the 30 days, but then I had this, and then you keep working with them. So we start seeing momentum, and it's a repeat guest that becomes more mentoring instead of just a one-off coaching session. So if there's any
okay.
if you're coaching live and there's anybody who you really like, who you have, you just jive really well together.
Connect with, yeah.
You could just consider making that a series, so that every quarter you're checking in with them again, and then you're coaching them to get to the next level.
Oh man, boom. That's amazing. Yeah, just someone you gel with, and it's a repeat guest, and it almost shows like a nice journey or story. Like it's that check-in, but then, because one-offs, it's like, yeah, what next? Where did they go? Where if you see someone, say, a month down the track or a few months down the track, and that follow-up, yeah, even I like watching those. So, and I learned from that. So that's something that, yeah, why not do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, sounds like we kind of laid out what your group coaching is going to be. You got your once a month topic driven, they pick, and then you answer and do breakout rooms. And then the second one is you coaching inside the group for everybody watching. And then looking at making ongoing content in Instagram, YouTube environment of live coaching. I wouldn't even worry about the thought leadership videos yet. Coaching. Just do 2 to 3 times a week live coaching and turn them into videos. For Instagram Live is already a video, and then turn that into a YouTube video.
Yeah.
You'll just get way better at coaching, and also you start building up your brand and your recognition, and people will want to work with you.
Perfect. I like that. And then with the other one, doing like the teaching side of it, those ones I'll just record like to a camera with my material, which then would become a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So you're kind of coming at from both angles.
Yeah. I would prioritize the coaching just because it gets you out of the gate faster.
Right.
Because it's just not as much time to make it. Like if it's 4 hours to do one video for YouTube, those could be 8 different half-an-hour sessions of coaching. I still like the first one, and it's in the long term, it's a skill that you should master, so that it doesn't take you 4 hours, it takes you 20 minutes. You get that through the repetition. But the coaching is going to be the thing that gets you out of the gate the fastest.
Yeah. And then you're working with people and you're getting that feedback and what's working, what's not working. Yeah. Just with a team, who or what person should I pull in first to help me with working on my delegation skills and just trying to offload some of the work to increase my productivity? Who would be kind of the first person I'd want to bring on?
Either an admin to just ease the burden for you. So, Sandra is a lifesaver for me. I mean, she booked this for us to go live. And she just books, she controls my calendar, because otherwise I would go crazy. So either an admin and that doesn't have to be full-time either, by the way. Like, you may not be so busy that you need a full-time admin, but that's fine. It's good practice for delegation skills to hire somebody for 5 hours a week, Yeah,
that's a good. Yeah, I'm used to Fiverr and Upwork and the freelancing sites. I use those quite frequently already. So
yeah, I mean, Upwork is better than Fiverr, because if you want long-term people, right? So you're bringing somebody on board your team that ultimately you want somebody to scale so that they can be full-time with you. You may not have the business yet, but that's the goal. It's better one person at 40 hours a week than 8 people at 5 hours a week.
Right.
So Fiverr doesn't create that. Like you don't hire people full-time off Fiverr. Those are short-term gigs.
Transactional.
Yeah. Long-term ongoing work is Upwork. And then honestly, just be a good boss. Like most bosses suck. So just care about your team and ask them how they're doing. And, I was on a call on the weekend with somebody new we hired. He's like, nobody's ever cared about me or asked me any questions about myself before. My heart is so full. I was like, all right, well, great.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to be a good person, and just not treat people like robots or monkeys, and be surprised at how much love you get back.
Yeah, there's a huge transactional culture going on right now, and the digital and remote is making it worse.
So either admin, or you look at the thing that you need to do but hate to do. So for me, on the YouTube side, when I hired my first editor, that saved a lot of time for me because I hated editing and I didn't want to get better at it. I wasn't good at it and I didn't want to get better at it, right? Like if you suck at it, but you want to get better, okay, go get better. But if you suck at it and don't want to get better, like, do you need to do it? Or if it doesn't need to get done, you kill it. But if it still needs to get done, then maybe just not by you. And so if it's one of those things that has to get done, and it has to get done by a human, but you really don't want it to be you, your time is better spent coaching, marketing, building a business than doing X. Like if you can consider that X, then that's the person that you hire. And it may be a 5 hours a week VA, right? And then even a VA though, like Sandra on my team, I don't consider it to be a VA. I guess she is a virtual assistant, but she's team, like she's family, even though she just lives somewhere else. So you have your personal assistant at 5 hours a week, and you've got somebody doing X, somebody doing your video editing for 10 hours a week. And then
the thing you don't like to do.
Yeah, like whatever
still needs to get done.
But has to get done. That's who you are next.
Thanks, Evan. This has been like huge. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Well,
and
this is a great example. Like your reaction right there is exactly what you need to be doing for your coaching clients. Like you feel great. You just got some wisdom to now hopefully feel like you can apply it to your life and your situation. That's a gift you can give people. But then I see the comment here from Jeff. It's awesome to watch you coach live, Evan. Thanks for the inspiration and demonstration, right? It's like that becomes the goal too. It's like, you're going to get that. Gary, it's so awesome to watch you coach live. I can't believe what you just did to help this person, right? So it's a gift for everybody. It's a gift for you because you'll feel great. I feel great that I helped you. The other person will feel great for receiving the help, and then your audience will feel great for having learned something and been inspired along the way. And some of those people will convert. I don't do coaching, but if I wanted to, I would just be doing this all the time. And then people would say, hey, Evan, how do I hire you? How do I hire you? How do I hire you? Right? So people will do that for you.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
So one of the challenges people have with the thought leadership content is you're trying to tell too many stories. Like, keep it focused. Just run with your personal name. The best option. That skill set will serve you for life.